Hey guys, Zelonius here. Welcome to another video on the channel. In this video today, I'm going to be sharing with you my post-patch updated 422 custom tactics and player instructions. Are you fed up of getting out-teamed on FIFA? Want that God squad that you've always dreamed of? Check out MMO EXP and use code ZEL at checkout for a 5% discount. Check out the link below. MMO EXP, the best place to buy coins. So, we've had a few days to play on the new patch, test it out, and it's the first big patch we've had in terms of gameplay in like at least a month. And whilst it's not changed directly a lot of areas of the game, well, it hasn't changed anything specific about tricks, shooting, keeper movement, all that type of stuff, it has kind of had an indirect effect on a lot of areas of the game. Simply put, whenever you do any sort of change to the AI on a game like FIFA, so the AI have been changing this in terms of how they press, especially around constant pressure. Anytime you do that, it has a knock-on like snowball effect on lots of areas of the game, and in turn, that's meant I've wanted to update my tactics. Nothing crazy changed to them, but anytime I update my tactics, I always want to share them with you guys, let you know what I'm running with. And of course, this week during Rivals, I'm going to be testing out more formations. I just wanted to have my like solid 4-2-2 that I know and love for this weekend league to get used to it. And then, like I say, we'll test it out more this week and giving you guys more post-patch custom tactics. So, this is the team I use. I've used it for a couple of weeks. I like it. Crespo is a bit dog, not going to lie. Nothing special about that guy. It's just, I got him from my untradeable, like, what was it, 84 times 20 pack. Casemiro and Dirk Kuyt, not the best pairing in midfield, but I've got like 3 million coins saved. I'm trying to save up for Team of the Year coming up soon. I'd like to be able to get a couple of crack Team of the Year players in there, and the team in general is very good. I think at this point of the game, if you've been playing it hardcore or playing it a lot, there's no excuse not to have a pretty decent team. Now, this team on paper probably cost about 5 to 6 mil. I'm not saying everyone should have 5 to 6 mil. I get the top rewards every week and play the game for a living. But I think at the very least, like if you took Ginola and Varane out, that team's worth like 3.5 mil. I think everyone who's playing the game regularly, as long as you've not been ridiculously stupid, you can't should be able to afford a decent team like that. We're going to go look at the tactics. And obviously, of course, by the way, like I always do lots of videos about the best players in the game. I do about the best value players in the game. I'm waiting for Team of the Year to drop before I do my tier list for like attack, midfield, and defense. When that drops, we'll do a video on that. So, anyone who follows my tactics will know I always have a defensive and attacking variation of the formation that I want to play the majority of the game in. So it's important to have a game plan. I think even more important now that they've changed how pressing and all that works on the game. So for me, my game plan is pretty much always going to be starting the defensive formation. It is not defensive. That is just literally the name of the game plan. I just switch to in-game. And for that, this is the tactic, the 4-2-2. You'll see when we get to the attacking variation, it's just a higher press, a bit more in your face. Then the ultra defensive is what I switch to if I'm really struggling against the press, later on trying to hold out in a game. And the ultra attacking will show briefly that because that's been affected a bit with the new patch. That is what I switch to if I'm losing and trying to get back into a game. So for the 4-2-2, this is what I will play majority of the game. I have upped the depth slightly. Simply put, you are able to press a little bit higher up the pitch, take a few more risks, because people, I think, are not going to press quite as much now that it seems a bit less effective. So because of that, you can maybe get away with playing a little bit higher up the pitch because it's less likely you're going to get pressed and counter-attacked quickly. So I've upped the depth. The depth, by the way, isn't how high your defensive line sits. That's a common misconception people have. I don't really get why that's not how it is, because in real life, if you talk about the depth of a team, that tends to be how high the defensive line is. But on FIFA, that's not the case. It's how high up your team start to press. So if you had 100 depth, your team would start to press a lot higher up than if you had 1. And for the build-up play, chance creation, I always in this formation run balanced direct passing. Just works very well with it. Direct passing pins defenders back, gives you a lot of space. The width I've upped ever so slightly. It's probably going to be a bit easier to keep the ball now, and keeping the ball frustrating your opponent is a very good thing to do. Players in box 6, cause not changed that. In terms of the instructions compared to my previous version of this tactic, I've not changed anything other than I've gone stay central on the strikers. I want them to, I've found being stay central on them just worked a bit better lately. And because I've upped the width, the Lamb and Ram give me that width even better. So stay central, stay forward on the 2 strikers. Come back on defence, get into the box on the 2 outside cams. Cut passing lanes, balanced attack on one of the CDMs. Now, this CDM needs to be the one who can attack, go forward. I don't think, in general, you want to really ever use an out-and-out defensive CDM like Casemiro. It's just cheap and I wanted to try him. But generally speaking, you want midfielders on this game, especially now that there's a lot of options been released. At the start, there weren't many, but now there's a lot of options who are available. You always want to have at least one CDM, ideally 2, who can do a bit of everything, can get forward, can shoot if the chance comes to them, have both feet they can spray the ball about with. But if you only have one, make sure that he's on balanced attack. You need this guy to be able to get forward, to occupy that middle of the pitch where there's a bit of a gap otherwise. Then for the defence, stay back on all of them. For the more attacking variation, it's press after possession loss, 50 width. I've upped the depth and width in this one slightly. Probably go 60 width as well. I prefer that now. I don't think though, like upping by 5 or 10 really does change a lot. But maybe it's just a placebo effect, but it feels like it worked well for me. The instructions on this one, I left it unbalanced on this one just because I'm pressing all over the pitch. That the way the players are going to win the ball back, they could be anywhere, to be honest. And then the rest of the instructions are the same, to be honest. I feel like now you can switch to this a little bit earlier because of the stamina. It's 11%, which doesn't sound a lot, but it can be somewhat noticeable in the game. What I would say is, if you were losing and you feel like you're not going to get ripped apart, it's not too big a risk, you could switch to this and start going at your opponent a little bit earlier in a game. And then when it comes to if you're losing by a few goals, I switch to this probably like 55, 60 minutes now. Before, it would maybe be 60 to 70 minutes around then that would switch. You can maybe switch even as early as 50, 55 now with the stamina change. It's not quite as effective now, the constant press, when it's basically all-out team press non-stop because of the way they've nerfed the AI. But I don't think it's drastically different to before. But like I said, you can do it for a bit longer now, so there's pros and cons in terms of the press. Am I sat here promoting ratty constant press gameplay? No, people, or say people, a couple of comments on one of my recent videos. I don't use this as my main tactic and I wouldn't, but I'm just telling you that I think it's viable. I always will tell you guys what I think works on the game. If I think something's broken and shouldn't be in the game, I'll say that. But my job, I feel, as a content creator who's trying to help people get better at the game, is to educate you, tell you what works on the game, try and help you guys improve. If there's something that's OP that I think is going to help you guys get a lot better at the game, I'm going to tell you about it. Does it mean I always like what works on the game? No, on FIFA 19, there was the El Tornado crosses, the volleys from 35 yards, the first time pass. I hated that, but did it mean that I didn't use it or didn't tell people about it? No. I coach people, I help people get better at the game, it's my job. And if anyone is interested in coaching, I've got some spaces open at the start of this year. I've helped probably over 500 people get better at the game. Someone I coached recently managed to get 20-0 for the first time ever. I've coached people all the way from beginners at the game all the way to people who are veterans and pros who've made world championships. So if you're interested in getting coaching, message me on Twitter or Instagram. It does cost money, just so you know beforehand. But yeah, those are the custom tactics. Nothing too drastic change, like I said, this patch, but just little tweaks and when you can press, how good the press could be. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know how the tactics are doing for you. Let me know what you're thinking of the gameplay post-patch. As always, I appreciate you guys. Keep it spicy. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.